America is on the path to fascism. And I don't say that lightly, so let me say it again. America is on the path to fascism. In this MAGA era, a lot of people on TV, on podcasts, on social media are asking out loud, could it happen here? Just look at what actually is happening today, and you get a pretty clear picture of the road we're on. Donald Trump has bullied and sued news organizations. A democracy won't survive without a free press. There's a reason why the founding fathers put the freedom of press in the very First Amendment. Trump has used the power of government to wage an all out assault on our universities. And with the exception of Harvard, they've all caved to his demands. He's tried to oust CEOs of private companies he doesn't like Intel's CEO. And we've seen other business leaders falling over themselves trying to kiss the ring. Just check out Tim Cook from Apple in the Oval Office a few days ago, brown-nosing Trump as the cost of doing business under this MAGA regime. Donald Trump even fired the person who reports labor statistics because their data showed an economy that was slowing, which, by the way, it is thanks to the tariff taxes. J.D. Vance, the vice president who just might one day inherit the keys to the MAGA kingdom, recently said,
I think the people whose ancestors fought in the Civil War have a hell of a lot more claim over America than the people who say they don't belong.
MAGA has also corrupted our legal system in every imaginable way. The attorney general, the head of the FBI, other senior leaders are wildly, inappropriately political. The Justice Department has been launching investigations into Trump's political enemies. It's just brazen. He's viciously attacked judges who get in his way. His administration has blatantly defied court rulings, and he's aggressively targeted law firms, most of whom caved to his demands immediately. And that has a dramatic chilling effect over the entire legal system. You can't have a legal system without lawyers. Let's talk about here in Texas. We have a front row seat to MAGA's flagrant attack on our democracy. It started with Trump's brazen demand of our state's lawmakers to steal 5 more congressional seats, more than the few they've already stolen, in a desperate attempt to keep a Republican majority in the House in the midterm elections, an election they know they'll lose if it's fair and square. Trump has even created his own secret police, masked men yanking people, many of whom are just law-abiding construction workers or farm workers, off the streets, throwing them in unmarked cars, and sending them to American concentration camps or gulags in El Salvador. All of these are symptoms of fascism, American style. And like I said, I'm not throwing that word around lightly. One of the things that MAGA does is they accuse anyone who criticizes Trump of Trump derangement syndrome. But saying that we're on the path to fascism isn't the same thing that America is Nazi Germany. We're not there yet, obviously. But it's recognizing the reality of what's happening around us, which is starting to match the dictionary definition of fascism. A populist political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that's associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forcible suppression of opposition. There is no manifest destiny. America is not preordained by God to always be a great country or to always be a beacon of freedom and democracy. Ronald Reagan used to say, we're one generation away from losing our democracy. But after nearly 10 years of MAGA's assault on our institutions, sadly, I think we're much closer than a generation. They say that all that's required for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. Well, too many of our political leaders and business leaders and spiritual leaders have been unwilling to do something about it, and that makes me furious. They know better, and yet they still allow Trump's evil to march on. Look, the Republicans who represent us here in Texas are sure not going to do anything to stop it. They're the ones who enabled it to begin with. They're actually cheering it on, attacking our free press, destroying the government from within, politicizing our justice system, undermining the courts, bullying universities and businesses, standing up a secret police terrorizing law-abiding residents, stealing congressional seats and elections, all while Congress and the Supreme Court are missing in action, shirking their responsibility to provide checks and balances to the president. It is the worst dereliction of duty in our country's history. I don't recommend it, but look at John Cornyn's social media, and you'll see John Cornyn, pathetic bootlicker that he is, praising Trump and his quote, 200 days of wins, all in caps. I think it's time to stand up and say no to this unfolding disaster. That's why I'm running for US Senate. We need leaders who understand the significance of this singularly dangerous moment in our nation's history. We need leaders who have the courage and moral clarity to do the right thing, to put country over party, and to put country over self. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for that to happen. That's why I have joined this battle. I'm running because nobody understands the stakes of this moment better than I do. And I'm running because there's no one better equipped to represent Texas in the US Senate. So let's meet this moment and let's go on this mission together.